Hello everybody and welcome back for the first video of the 2026 AFLW season as the fixtures have just come out. And to give my initial thoughts of the fixture, well, they are...
Yes! 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 No! 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 Yes! 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 No! No! No!
Also, when the hell are we going to play Essendon again? It's going to be 5 years next year. Are we seriously not going to play Essendon for over 5 years? What does the AFLW have with us playing the Bombers? I don't know. But regardless, let's actually dive into the fixture proper and see what we've got coming up this year. And we start round one with, interestingly, I believe this is going to be our first non-home game since 2023, and that was in Norwood. So this is technically our first non-South Australian home game since 2022, our inaugural season. But regardless, Sunday the 16th of August, 4:35, once again the last game of the round, which sucks. We'll be going to the brand new Cockburn ARC Oval, which is Fremantle's training ground that they'll be using for games this year instead of Fremantle Oval, which kind of sucks because I kind of liked when Fremantle were playing in Fremantle. But regardless, it will be interesting to check out this new ground and see what it's like to play on it. It's a training ground, so it should theoretically be hopefully better than just a local community oval. But regardless, we got Fremantle again for round one. So this is going to be interesting. Obviously, last year, our game against Fremantle, I feel like we spent more time brawling with the players than we were going for the ball, which was a bit disappointing. But regardless, I'm kind of really keen to see us finally get a win here. Obviously, the Dockers have had the wood over us for a few years, and I don't think they've necessarily been that much better of a team than us. So I'm really keen to see if we can actually get a win. Obviously, it is going to be away, which is difficult. Did torpedo some plans I had. I was potentially thinking of going to Adelaide to watch the round launch, but since it's not going to be in Adelaide, I might go to Perth, but probably not. The flight's going to be so expensive, especially with the way the plane tickets are going at the moment. So yeah, probably not going to do that. But regardless, hopefully we can beat Freo and go in with our first, because we've yet to win a round one game. Can we please finally win a round one game? But regardless, let's go into round two where we actually do return home. And it's Sunday the 23rd of August, 3:05, Alberton, and this was always going to come, wasn't it? We have the Hawthorn Hawks. A little bit nervous about this one. Obviously, we smashed the Hawks last year, and obviously everyone remembers the 24 semi-final, but I remind you in both those cases, we were versing a depleted Hawks. I think Port Adelaide is a team, especially in these last two seasons, that gets stronger as the year goes on. Hawthorn, on the other hand, is a team that sort of does the opposite thing to get weaker as the season goes on. So it's definitely kind of nerve-wracking going into this team and facing probably a fully armed and operational Hawthorn. But yes, I think it's definitely going to be a challenge. Obviously, it's nice that it's once again at home. I've had theories about whether or not the Hawks are going to drop off. Obviously, they've lost a few players, but I thought they were going to drop off last year and they still ended in the top four. So, that's definitely going to be a big challenge. What might not be as big a challenge, or I don't want to get too cocky, here's our round three game in none other than Canberra. Booyah, baby! Port Adelaide comes back to the capital, and I cannot wait to see them come here. I'm so excited for this game. Obviously, I'll probably buy the tickets as soon as they're available, but regardless, it's nice that we're finally getting to see Port Adelaide come here. And it's the Giants, a team we generally play pretty well, unless it's the final round of 2024. But ignoring that game, obviously, last year we pretty comfortably put the Giants away, so much so that we started just trying to feed goals to Gemma Houghton so she could get a record. But regardless, it should be a fun game. It's nice to obviously watch this at Canberra. I think Monaco Oval's way better than Henson Field. But regardless, hopefully, if all goes to plan, we can hopefully potentially be maybe 2-3 or even 3-3 at this point in the season, going into, another pretty easy game. Well, again, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves as we have round 4, Port Adelaide versus the Gold Coast Suns. This time on Saturday, finally. Yeah, for some reason all our first games are on a Sunday, but this time it's on a Saturday. Saturday, 2:35 at Alberton Oval. Obviously last year this was the most biggest thrashing we gave a team all year. In fact, we broke the scoring record, as I remember, for only 20 hours. But can we break the scoring record again? No, I'm thinking Gold Coast is probably going to be a little bit better this year. Obviously, they'll have a bit more experience under their belt, and they're obviously loaded with talent. So we do want to watch out for that. So it will be interesting. Obviously, once again, hopefully being at Alberton will make that a little bit easier for us. But regardless, we go into round 5. So, no, back to Sunday, unfortunately. Although I think this is the last Sunday game. Sunday, September 13th, at Casey Fields. We're visiting Melbourne at home. So we obviously we've only played Melbourne once. That was our upset win against them last year. We haven't played them at Casey Fields yet, which is going to be interesting. Obviously, a bit nervous about this game. Melbourne is obviously a very powerful team. They made a prelim. They almost bet North Melbourne. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a big challenge for us. It will be interesting how we play against them away, and was that win against them a fluke? Because it does, unfortunately, does feel a bit like we won them because of a bit of a fluke. But fingers crossed, if we've put together a strong team, we might be able to take it to the Demons, who, you know, they had an off-season in 24, and they could have an off-season this year as well. Partly because, remember, they've also got a new coach this year, which will definitely be interesting. But regardless, following that, we are once again back at Alberton on Saturday, September 19th to verse. We got a newcomer. It's the Sydney Swans. Now, for those who don't know, the first ever Port Adelaide women's game I watched was our game against the Swans at Alberton, our first inaugural season, where we won. I think it was like 48-2 or something. So it's exciting to finally see them. Obviously, I was really hoping to play the Swans last year because we obviously got Ella Heads from them in a trade. Obviously, I guess you can call this the Ella Heads grudge match, but it's a bit weird doing that 2 years after the trade. But regardless, either way, it should be hopefully a fun game. Sydney, it's going to be interesting to read on. Obviously, they've continuously choked making finals in the last 2 years. They've got a new coach now. Could that be the secret sauce to get them into fighting form, or could they be an easy picking for us? I don't know. But regardless, we then go into round 7. Friday game, because obviously we're going to be playing in Melbourne. So obviously they do all their Saturday games on a Friday, because obviously the Saturday will be the grand final for the men's. And so we're once again going back that weekend, and I'm hoping to go myself to watch us play the Western Bulldogs at 2:05 at Mission Whitten Oval. Obviously, for those who don't know, I've made good friends with the Bulldogs supporter, who we'll probably meet up with down there. And yeah, that should be a really good. I really love Mission Whitten Oval. It's a pretty cool oval with great views of the city from there. Obviously, for me as the Bulldogs is interesting. We pretty decisively bet them in 24, although mind you, they couldn't kick a goal for the life of them. We had that bit of a interesting game last year where they were kind of run over top of us at the start, but that's partly because we were still shell-shocked from the Saints game. So, but then we finished really quite confidently. So it'll be interesting because I see these teams as similar place teams. They're young lists that are growing quite rapidly. The question is who's growing further ahead, and fingers crossed it's ours. But regardless, we go to round 8, which I like to know is my birthday weekend, although my birthday won't be on the Saturday, it's going to be on the Sunday. But regardless, it's the showdown time. Obviously, this is going to come every year. And obviously, this time will be the home showdown. So I presume we'll be bringing out the prison bars again for this one. Obviously, Saturday, October 7:15. So it's a Saturday primetime game, although I remember last year was a Friday night game. Yeah, I don't think I mind too much it being on a Saturday. I might obviously be able to come to this one because I usually come down to Adelaide on the weekend of my birthday. So I'll see how that one goes. But regardless, we go to round 10. We have an interesting match in the form of West Coast, who we are finally, for the first time, what feels like forever, playing them at home. So we obviously got back-to-back Alberton games. Obviously 3 or 5 on the Saturday. And obviously West Coast is a team we've kind of gone back and forth. They've beaten us, we've beaten them. But we've always been needing to play them at their home ground in Mineral Resources Park. So it's kind of glad to finally see them play us on our home ground. So can we do better? Obviously, I know the Eagles are kind of another famous team that kind of crashes out as the year goes on. So that means could we be versing a slightly weaker Eagles at the point where we usually get stronger in the year? Fingers crossed we could possibly win that one. All right, then. I really am not looking forward to this. Saturday, October 17th at 5:05. Springfield, we're going to Brian Holmes Arena to once again verse Brisbane, who I swear we versed them like this time last. I mean, they might have been round 9 last year, so but it's basically the same time. It's their home game once again, and I just see this game being probably a bit of a disaster. Brisbane always seems to be a very powerful team. They often usually end the years really strong, as we've seen last year. So, yeah, I'm not feeling super optimistic about this game. You never know, maybe we can pull off an upset. But yeah, hopefully things are all right and we keep some more wins going in to our other Friday game. So this time it's not just because it's the grand final holiday. We actually have a proper Friday game after so many Sunday games. At 7:15, we are taking on Collingwood, who obviously we did not play last year. We did play them in 24. Obviously, everyone remembers that game from when Matilda got both her Rising Star nom and later win, and she also got the the Mark of the Year nomination and later win as well. So it was, that was obviously a big game. I actually was at that game because that was my birthday weekend, that one. But yeah, so it's obviously good to see the Pies again. I remember we had a bit of trouble with them in a preseason match last year. Hopefully that was just because it was preseason and we actually are a decent team, although the 24 game with them was really scrappy. It will be interesting. Hopefully, Collingwood's still a bit of a mess and we can get an easy win here to go into our round 12 game. Saturday, October 31st, last day of October, 1:05. We're going back to the scene of the crime. We're going back to RSCA Park to take on the St Kilda Saints. Hilariously enough, on the Port socials, they had all their games fixtured as video cassettes, and they had this one as Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, which I think a horror movie was a great choice for this game. Obviously, I'm hoping that we take that anger at what happened last year and just come in with a big fist and just out St Kilda legally, of course. So hopefully we don't have what happened last year happen again, because I don't want to see that ever again. But regardless, obviously fixture is, as it meant to be, sort of a middle of the road fixture. We've obviously got, I think, of last year's finalists, we are versing everyone but North Melbourne and Carlton. So that's both a yay, not North Melbourne. Also a bit of I was kind of hoping to play Carlton. And also a bit of I didn't really want to play Brisbane, Melbourne and Hawthorn, 3 of the top 4 teams from last year, especially because we came 10th. But regardless, they obviously, they're going to keep fixtures against Hawthorn to the end of the until this stops getting interesting. But regardless, I'm also kind of annoyed we're not getting Essendon or Richmond. Of the bottom 4 teams, we're hardly playing any of them. But with that being said, the bottom 4 is never the same. So there is a good chance this year that several of the bottom 4 teams are going to be teams we're playing this year. For all we know, Brisbane could drop off this year. Hawthorn could drop off this year. And they might end up being easy pickings. You never know. But to go off where I'm feeling at the moment, I'm sort of having a look. Let's have a look here. So I would say I'm going to go pessimistic here and see where that puts us. Let's say I think we lose to Fremantle. I think we lose to Hawthorn. I think we beat the Giants. I think we beat the Suns. I think we lose to Melbourne. I think we beat the Swans, beat the Dogs. Let's say we beat Adelaide. We beat the Eagles. We beat the Pies, we beat the Saints, and that gives us maybe 8 wins. Maybe I was a bit less pessimistic than I said. So I've really got about 8 wins. I'll have a look at what that puts us on the ladder. 8 wins last year was equivalent to what Carlton got, and that put them in 5th. So it wouldn't be a top 4 finish, but it would be a pretty strong, it would at least be a finals berth. And remember this year, I believe the wild card will be in effect, so we can also finish as low as 10th and still play finals, which that would have been great last year, because we probably actually could have got pretty far in finals. But regardless, to summarise a little bit of the fixture, obviously it's amazing the girls are going to come here to Canberra. I'm so looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to playing the Lions again in Springfield. That's not going to be fun. And I'm so annoyed. We have Matilda Schultz, who's an amazing player. Poppy Schultz, who's an amazing player. Why are we not having the sisters go head to head? This would be such a fun game. But the fixture just continues to deprive us of that enjoyment. But regardless, pre-season's still got a few more months to go. It's still a while before round one, so videos will probably be a bit slow coming out on this channel. But regardless, I think we can all get really excited as we go into this season and shout, "Let's go, Power!"